Hello everyone and welcome to another session of the CloudCraze instructional videos. Today we are going to be talking about CloudCraze categories. The goal of this training video is that by the end of this training you will be able to create new CloudCraze product categories, work with them and assign them to parent and child relationships, in which you're going to be able to create parent categories and their subsequent children categories. You're going to refresh the category spec index, and then ultimately you're going to see your categories reflected on the front end. So before we get into the exercise, let's talk a little bit about what are CloudCraze categories. Within an e-commerce site, CloudCraze categories allow you to organize your products into logical groups. They are the groupings under which products that share similar specs or attributes or characteristics may logically be organized, and they are ultimately things which help your customers drill down from a high level to find the products that they are looking for at a more granular detail. When we talk about the CloudCraze category structure example and the way that it's set up within the back end, we always start with what's known as the root category at the storefront level. This is a back-end construct which serves as the parent for all of the categories which we are going to be creating. This root category is not reflected on the front end and is not something that is navigatable by users on the front end, but rather a back-end construct to which all of the other categories are assigned. From there, what we do is we flow down and we actually get into the CloudCraze parent categories. Now, these are the things that start to appear on our front end once they are assigned to our root category at that storefront level. It is important to note also that every storefront has a different root category. So different storefronts can have a different root category that is assigned to that given storefront. So from the parent category, what we are able to do is we are able to organize those groupings. So we can see here that our products are organized into servers, peripherals, storage devices, and then the exercise that we're going to be performing is creating a new category called printers, to which we are going to assign two children, Epson and HP, and which we can then further assign products such as the Epson Workforce printer and the HP printer that we have created in other exercises. In going along with categories, there is another attribute that is important to note, and that is the sequence number. The sequence number is something that we see often across CloudCraze, and what the sequence number from a category point of view helps us do is organize our categories in the way that we want them to display on the front end. Remember again that the lower number of a sequence is actually higher up in the list. So in this grouping of categories that we see here, what we would first see is the security appliances at the top, followed by storage devices, peripherals, managed servers, and all the way down to servers at the bottom. So within exercise 3E, what we're going to be hopping into now is we are actually going to create new categories. We are going to see that we have an overarching parent category of products, as well as the storefront specific default store root category. The default store reflects the storefront that we are going to be working with. The printers category is the new category that we are going to be creating. And then from there, we are going to create our children, the HP and the Epson subcategories. The final thing that we want to note before we hop into the exercise is that categories is one of those things that you need to make sure that you index once you refresh those records. And we're going to see that we are going to be able to re-index our category records by going into the CC admin tab. So let's hop into our exercise now and bring up our storefront. So we can see from the storefront, and this is the Cloudburst storefront that we're working within, that we have our list of categories here. These categories are in turn reflected here on the back end, and the object that you're going to be working within is CC categories. Now, when I alluded to the parent categories for the default store, I want to point out a couple of things. The first of which is that there is this category ID of 0 and products. Now you can see that products has no parent category. Now that is because that is the overarching community-wide category construct on the back end. That is the out-of-the-box version for CloudCraze. From there, what I want to show you is that we now have this category ID, and this is our storefront specific root category, the default store root category, and it carries with it this category ID. This category ID is likewise reflected within the CC Admin tab under our storefront settings, where for our storefront of default store, we have a root category ID of 99999. So you can see that there is this mapping between the default store root category and the storefront admin settings. From there, you can see that we have a variety of categories that we saw within the slides that are then assigned to that storefront specific parent category, and that's that default store root category. And that's the one that we're going to assign our new category to, which we can then go ahead and create now. So anytime that you are creating category, there are several attributes that are required. And the category name in this case we are going to call printers. The category ID is the identifier. And when we assign it to a root category, it's to a parent category, we're going to assign it to the default store root category. And we'll go ahead and save that. We can see that we have the sequence number here too, which we'll just leave alone for now. We go ahead and save. Now our category has been added, and an easy way for us to create new categories is to just clone them. So we're going to clone this one, and we're going to call it Epson. But the parent category that we want to assign here is our newly created category, which is printers. Similarly, we'll just do save and new. We'll create HP. Assign it to our printers category and save our changes. Now the final step that we want to do in order to make sure that our categories display correctly on the front end is go into the CC Admin console, go into global settings, because an indexing job is a global setting, not a storefront specific setting, and we want to refresh the category tree cache. We have the cache job run, and then we navigate back to our home page, refresh our home page, and we can now see that our printers have been added as a category. So let's take it to that one step further, and you can see too by hovering over our printers, we have our two child categories appear below it. In subsequent exercises, we can actually add products, and assigning products to the categories is relatively simple. You just want to go over to CC Categories. And you can see that we have the HP, to which we can then assign a product. We will assign our HP printer here, save our changes. There is no need to refresh our category in this instance. So if we simply go to the printers page and click on HP, navigate down to our product, we should be able to see that product reflected. And we can see that we do have our HP printer reflected there. Finally, what I wanted to show was that we can modify the order and the sequence of our categories, and the way that we will do that is by navigating back to our CC Categories page. We can see that right now printers is about the second from the bottom. What I'm going to do is assign it a very low number in terms of its sequence. So instead of 500, I will make it 50. I will save my changes. And then coming back to the home page and refreshing, I should now be able to see those changes reflected. And I can see that printers now appears at the top. All right, so that does it for category management. Thank you for watching.